Hi, and welcome to the Power BI user group. This is the news and update section where we'll be looking at some news and some new developments within the world of BI. Looking at our agenda for this evening, we'll be looking at some introductions, then we'll go into news. There are some topics of discussion there that we'll be looking at, from Copilot in Power BI Preview, announcing the retirement of legacy Power BI apps, and Microsoft Fabric Community Conference. Then looking at the update section, we'll be looking at the additional enhancements for columns, bar, and ribbons. We'll also then look at extended customization for data labels. Then moving on to adding a visual calculation. And then lastly, we'll be looking at measure descriptions within Copilot, which is in preview. And then lastly, we'll just look at some useful links for where you can find this information. For introductions, my name is Siyabonga Zungu. I am a tech lead for BI and data platforms at Sado Analytics, and these are my contact details for those of you who would like to get in touch with me. Starting with our first news topic for the day. Copilot in Power BI Preview is available worldwide. This is an announcement that was made in February that Copilot is now available worldwide, but this will only be for those customers that are in premium or are with a Fabric capacity. Some of the things that are worth considering before you enable Copilot is that you can use Copilot capabilities in Power BI, but your administrator needs to enable Copilot in Microsoft Fabric, and this can be done with a new tenant setting group, which is called Copilot and Azure OpenAI Service, which is in preview in the admin portal. Looking at the second news updates for the day, there's an announcement that the retirement of legacy Power BI apps is going to come to an end on the 1st of May 2024. What this means is that from May 2024 onwards, Microsoft will no longer offer support for the old apps that have been published in Power BI service. Now, this does not mean your apps will stop working completely, but it does mean that Microsoft will no longer be supporting that functionality. And they'll be now looking at the new functionality which supports the audience functionality within the app. Then one of the other items to cover within the news section is the Microsoft Fabric Community Conference. This is the pricing model for those of you that would be interested in attending the conference. And this is, I believe, the first conference that Microsoft is holding for the Fabric community. So this is the first time that this conference will be held, and it will be taking place in Las Vegas in the following dates. So if you are interested in registering for that, there are some prices linked to date in terms of when you register. So do take note that those prices will change if you register after the 7th of March. Now, looking at our update section, the first item is the more styling options for column and bar charts. There has been some enhancements that have been taking place. This is one of the updates that came up in the December release of the Power BI updates. And some of the key enhancements to just take note of is that you can now apply settings to your series in terms of applying transformations such as borders, shadings to enhance the visual that you are using, whether it's a bar graph, or a column chart. As I've mentioned, you can adjust the transparency, apply border customizations, but there's also layouts that you can use, which will then assist you in terms of basically using spaces in between your visuals to ensure that you've got the perfect layout and you've got it customized the way you would like to. And also this supports the ordering of your series, whether you would like to have it ordered in normal fashion or if you'd like to apply a reverse ordering. those would also be functionalities that you'd find as part of the layout. And there's also some advanced ribbon settings that you get along with it. Moving to the second topic of the day under the update section. This is for extended customization for data labels. This also has some key features and enhancements that have been rolled out in the December 2023 updates, which now allow you to add a title to your data labels. You can also customize your value to apply some transparency and also to basically customize your values in terms of how you would like them to display, with an option that you also get in terms of how you want to display blank values. So you also now get a default setting that allows you to choose what you would like to display in the place of blank values. You also now get a details section within the data labels. This allows you to have a secondary label within your data label, which you can now use for additional information. So you can display your data label, which can show the value of the series that you are working on. But beneath that, you can now also have a details portion where you can maybe add a percentage change to show how the trend has been progressing. And then you also get visual label layouts, which either you would use to put your labels in line, which is multi-line, which is one line after the other, or you can have them in a single row. Depending obviously on your preference, you would then have those options to choose from. Looking at the next piece of updates that have come out, this is one that has been released recently in the February update. These are visual calculations, and what this now allows you to do is that you can create a visual calculation that only exists within the scope of that visual from which the calculation is created. What that now means is you can have calculations that only exist for a particular visual, but are not necessarily available within your table view where you will normally find your measures that you create. This is meant to make it easier for some of those users who might be a bit intimidated about the semantic model that is designed and might not find it easy to navigate and find measures through the created semantic model. So now this is an option that those users have to create measures within the visual itself to get additional information from that visual. In terms of what you get in terms of the templates, they do provide some quick calculations through the click of the formula or function button, which then allows you to see some quick measures that you can write, whether you want to use a running total, a moving average, a percentage of parent, or any of these other templates that they've made available for quick access. There will be more functionality and templates that will be rolled out in time, so this feature will be enhanced as it goes. And then also within the update section, there is a measure description with Copilot now that has been rolled out. So the measure description with Copilot now allows you to add measure descriptions using the Copilot functionality. This allows you to use or take advantage of Copilot to enable basically your measure to have a description, so that when the users are now hovering on that particular measure, it will give the measure name as it always has, but now it will also give a description that has been set up by Copilot. So you can either use Copilot as one of the ways in which you can create a measure description, or you can actually type out your description within the description area that's provided for you. And you can also come back and tailor make any other measure descriptions if the measure itself changes over time and the description needs to be updated. Or you can then generate a new description still using Copilot. This is a feature in preview, so you do need to enable it in your preview features in order to see it. And then just to look at some of the items that you get with the Copilot, you do get the click on the, well, in terms of basically steps of how to set this up, is that you would go through the model view, where you will then be able to click on the Create with Copilot once you've enabled Preview, and then this will generate the description of that measure, which you can then review, and then once you're happy, you can either keep it or you can discard it if you want to generate your own. Looking at some useful links, this is where you can find the information for today's news and updates if you are interested in learning more about the topics that have been covered here. And with that, I'd like to thank you and enjoy the rest of the user group.